So I want to give a warning. This is a conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy theory from me. Um, but looking back, I think I have a better understanding of why the Chief Keefs and that type of music in general nationwide took off at the same exact time. Um, Again, it's just my conspiracy theory. So I'm not saying this is true or not, but this is how it would make sense to me, so you guys can see how my brain works. The inorganicness of but authenticity of a lot of the artists and especially rap culture, but I think it affects all demographics. Like I think country has their own version of this issue. I think rock has their own version of this issue. I think rap is just a little more detrimental because the money that it generates on that side. So I want to talk about this a little bit. So if I was trying to destroy a segment of society, right, how would I go about it? Looking at history, it's a lot of different ways you can do. The obvious stuff is, poison the food supply, poorly educate them, kill any of them that stepped out of line, ideology wise. But that's a long term, and I'm thinking it would take a lot of factors coming together to make that happen. Specifically, the political to get the laws passed, to get everything passed. But if somebody wanted to do that quicker, how would that go? Specifically in the areas that like, so if you're listening to this and you're from a major city, really think about this. The downtown is boxed in by the hood, and I've been most of the major cities in the country. I haven't been on the East Coast as much. I was in New York for a little bit after college, a couple weeks, but I haven't been to like Boston or up there. So it might, but for the most part, I've been to most of the major cities in my life. And the one thing I learned is that the downtown and the ritzy area is always boxed in by the hood. Then it's the suburbs. So you have to travel either around or through the hood to get from the downtown metro area to the suburbs. And I thought about that, like why? Why is every city, if you once you travel, you realize that every city is designed pretty much the same, ran pretty much the same. I mean, each has its own individual issues, but for the most part, it's a lot of, I think it's homogeneity in that. Use a big word on y'all. It's a lot of similarities, and to a point where it's almost mathematically impossible that that's not a design. For example, I was down in New Orleans, right? I was down in New Orleans for it was probably about, I think it was 2 summers ago, or 2 springs ago, maybe. And I went down there to do some work. And I'm a type of person that I walk around. So I was staying about a block from Bourbon Street. The Marriott was like a block from Bourbon Street. So what I would do every morning, I would wake up because I was working in the studio, so I was working mainly at night. So I would probably get back to my hotel like 4 in the morning, go to sleep, and I wake up early anyways. So I was up at like probably 8 or 9 o'clock. And what I would do is I would just walk around Bourbon Street. So I walked to the Garden District. I walked down to what's it called? It's not Bourbon Street, but it's when you keep going further up. Dang it. It's like the Arts District kind of place. Then I walked towards the World War II Museum. Like, so I was walking around all of New Orleans. And just kind of taking it in. I got a video on my channel about that. You can check it out too. I might try to link it in this video, but other side we aiming for the fences. What I realized was it felt like Milwaukee. So Milwaukee, when you are at the Pfizer Forum, is a kind of a landmark in like Water Street. If you walk a half a mile north, you're in Hillside, and that's the projects. If on the south part of it, if you're in Third Ward and you walk half a mile south, you're on Greenfield. I guess not Greenfield, on National, and that's the south side. Like that's and Milwaukee's extremely segregated. So, but I've noticed most cities are like that. So, if I was to purposely say that, so we're saying in the world where that is a perfectly is being designed. So we're in the conspiracy now. How would I make the population comply to what I want to do? So the thing I thought about it too, and Milwaukee is unique this way. And I mean, maybe other cities, but I'm just more intertwined with people from Milwaukee, I guess. But I think other cities would be similar to this. Milwaukee, we have a lot of people that made it. Like a lot of people that mainly we got sports, but we got music. But from like Cuckoo to Jordan Poole to Loon to we got a lot of people that made it to Karan. Well, Karan ain't really from where we from, but like the Milwaukee adjacent people. So like West, Karan, Tank. Like it's a Jacob Lattimore. Like we got a lot of people that we know have made it. Sheck West, like, and a bunch in sports too. Shoot, even like Con Knipple. He's a Milwaukee kid too. He grew up in the Lutheran school system like I did. So it's not as we know it's possible. That's why we have a different attitude towards success in Milwaukee, where we're shooting at the high end because we know it's possible. We've seen people that we grew up with. I got people I grew up with right now that play NFL 10 years, retired, millionaires. So I seen it firsthand. But in most inner city areas, especially if you don't play sports, you don't really see a lot of people make it. And when I was coaching in college, I recruited to Chicago. So I went to Thornton High School, Proviso East, Proviso West. I was all in them areas, like dipping and dodging, talking to kids, going to meet parents at houses to try to recruit them to go to the school I was coaching at. And the thing I realized, they haven't seen a lot of people that made it because Chicago is a massive city. So in this case, if you haven't seen people that made it, when somebody does make it, you support them big time. So Milwaukee's a hater city. Chicago is more of a support city, which is crazy because we're so close. But if I wanted to control and to denigrate and to basically destroy a population, a specific segment in a population that would affect the larger group, right? So it wouldn't be very hard to elevate one of them that's already kind of in trouble, and then I can control the narrative. And I think that's what happened with the Chief Keefs and the King Bonds and that whole generation, because kids really weren't like that until that Chief Keef era came through. And because looking at Chicago now, I know we've seen the Chicago mom with her kids at the other kids beat up, and you see everything. The rapper's girl at party got shot up, and I think a lot of America. So I'm my career wise, I'm in social work. I'm not a social worker, but social services. So I've seen a lot of shit, and I think a lot of America. So something like that, it doesn't shock me. Something like that only shocks people that aren't really. They're kind of in their own bubble. They don't know what's actually happening in these neighborhoods, and how could you if you don't have to go there? So I don't fault them for it, but that was kind of initially why I made the Black Show. Not kind of, it's exactly initially why I made the Black Show, because I was seeing it live and every day at work. Like, dude, our culture is crap right now, and it's not our culture. When black people say that to other black people, they're like, "Oh yeah, your Uncle Tom," all of the the catchphrases that we get. But I think they're taking it as a judgment of they're actively making a decision to act that way, when it's not that. That's not the truth. You're being made to act that way by somebody pulling the strings, and they do it with our entertainers. I was talking to one of my staff at work on this, and she's a little bit younger than me, and we were talking about how the representation of especially black women and black men is the celebrities are an exaggerated version. So I say this all the time. I got an uncle that's Mike Epps. You know what I mean? But Mike Epps is the exaggerated version of him. I got a cousin that's Cardi B, but Cardi B is an exaggerated version of my cousin's actual personality. And they took it, and now I see, especially with this younger group, they have to fit into the aesthetic. So they're not being themselves, they're being the aesthetic, and they're modeling their behavior and their likes and all of their things around this aesthetic. So being in a more rural area now, you see it with like the emo kids. Like the emo kids are doing, they're investing in being emo. It's not like that's what naturally how they feel. It's not an organic way. So people at the top, I'm gonna get to the point of this before I get out of here. The people at the top, what they do is they purposely pay and pull somebody that's in trouble. That's why a lot of the rappers are coming from jail. They are already compromised because they have committed crimes, and you have a level of control over them already. You give that person money, elevate them up, right? And the reason you do that is because then it's authentic to the people in the neighborhood. And then you make that person follow a certain script and a code, and they're doing everything to implement the negatives in the culture and to denigrate the culture. It's just a Trojan horse. And they continue to do it, and then you bleed that in different cities. So you saw it happen in Memphis, you see it happen in Atlanta, you see it happen in Baltimore, you see it happen in Houston, you see it happen in Dallas, you see it happen in Oakland, you see it happen in Compton. And then it looks like from the outside like that's a pattern of behavior when it's really not. It's all artificially being placed on the people. So once you can accomplish that, then whatever you want to implement, you implement through those people that you've elevated. And again, it's not just black culture that does this, but I don't think people can actually see what's happening from the outside. And the only reason I believe that I'm able to see through this is because I had my dip in music where I saw how fake these people actually were. It turned me off immediately. The point I started succeeding in music, I backed out once I saw how fake it was. I thought it was real. I thought meeting these artists, I'm like, oh, you're going to be the person that I see on TV, and it's complete opposite. And when people do that, it scares me. That's why I'm not perfect at it. I try to be my authentic self all the time. So at work, in the community, with friends, I might rub some people the wrong way, and I understand that, and I don't take it personal. I used to take it very personal. I don't take it personal anymore. My flavor might not be your flavor, so that's okay. But when I got into the music part and I realized how fake and backstabby and just, it's like they're a different breed of human. And I know it sounds like I'm being dramatic with that, but the length that some of these people will go to destroy other people, it's almost, and yes, you can say demonic enough, but they're a different species of people. And this is just the entertainers and the rappers and even the Elon Musk and them. They are the working class of that class. So if you can really comprehend the type of wealth and type of secludedness that they actually have, the people that we see on TV are the people that are really controlling things. That's their working class. We're the slaves. And I think that's the part that people don't want to get through their head. They don't want to be told they're a slave and actually understand who is enslaving them, because it's scary. So take what you want from that conspiracy. Give me your conspiracy of what happened, because I don't think that the denigration of black culture happened authentically. The black people, this younger generation, we are in trouble. We are in big trouble because they're undereducated. They can't read. 2 years ago, I was talking about the literacy rate in Milwaukee. It was 17% in the schools. And everybody thought I was just complaining. But our kids can't read and write or do math or anything. They have no moral codes. They don't respect anybody. They're basically wild animals. And then when people call them wild animals, because that's how they're acting, then they're called racist. Then they have a victim mentality that, nope, the system is why I'm this way. No, it's you. You're why you're this way, and it's your parents, and it's your community around you. They allow that behavior. And it's we're on a dark path, and that's why I always big up and preach like, man, these like the true gangsters and people that's gonna ride in these neighborhoods, they need to go to the military. Send them to the military so at least when they get killed, their family can have a GI Bill. We gotta. It sucks, but the generation that's really in the streets, not the ones that like just like the music and do all, they're gonna sway whatever the wind. The ones that's really in the streets, they need to all go to the military. They don't need to go to prison. They need to go to the military. Prison don't do nothing, but now it costs the taxpayers money to feed them and house them and do all that stuff. They need to go to the military. And okay, you like it was one of my kids that I coached when I was first started coaching, and I didn't really understand life at all at that point. And I remember having a talk with him, like, dude, go to the military because if you really like guns like this, learn from the best in the world because you're going to get killed messing around how you messing around. And now that boy is, me and him don't really see eye to eye now, but that boy is retired, got kids, got a wife, went to the military, loved it. You know what I mean? So it's a way out for these kids, but it's that soft approach is gone. Like, we for too long, and people are going to get upset when I say this, we for too long let grandma and mama run the neighborhood. Dad need to come back home in the neighborhood and say, nah, send his little ass out to go fight. You want to be tough, go show the world you tough. We need to put the structure back in the neighborhoods. That's why I had to remove myself from so many situations because I realized it was led by people that don't know how to lead. Like, no, at some point, the world is not a good place. At some point, somebody has to step in and say, nah, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. We need to go this way. Like, stop with the feelings and all that stuff. No, in reality, this is what needs to happen because this is what's going to happen. And that was the original intent of this show, but it's got to happen a lot more in the world, or in America specifically. I don't even work with the world, because we are, as a black population, on a really bad path, y'all. And there's no off ramp here. If it's no off ramp here, they say history repeats itself, and our younger generation is on their way to becoming actual slaves. They have no work ethic. And I'm not speaking of all of them, but it is most of them at this point. And I remember having a talk with Wags about this, my old football coach, and I was coaching with at the time in like 2015. I was like, it's no offer. It's no way back from this. It's not going to get better. And he was like, no, yeah, it is, Kenny. I'm like, no, it's not, bro. It's not getting better. I've been in the trenches working with these kids for real since I was 22. Like, really, I was chasing kids around that was on ankle monitors, making sure they was where they were supposed to be at 22, 23, 24. You know what I mean? I've been really in this, and I'm seeing what the reality of this is. And people are guarded. They don't understand how drastic and how real a situation we really got ourselves into here. So, I don't know. We shall see. We shall see how this goes. Yeah. It's Kenny Cams, y'all. It's the Black Show, and I'm out. What y'all think about that? Let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers. We are at 998 right now. So 2 people subscribe for me real quick. Let's get this thing pushed over and see if we can roll this thing down the hill, baby. It's Kenny Cams, y'all. I'm out. Peace.